Welcome in, everyone. It is the NBA draft, and with the 14th pick of the draft, the Pelicans selected Jordan Hawkins from UConn. And Locked On's NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA, and they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. You won't want to take your Birddogs off. We promise you that. So let's bring in our host of Locked On Pelicans, Jake Madison. Jake, Jordan Hawkins, a national champ. What I loved in listening to the broadcast is that he's compared to Ray Allen, a pretty good comp, if you ask me. What are the Pelicans getting in this first-round draft pick?
Look, when you look at the first round of the draft right now, I don't know if there's a better fit for a player than Jordan Hawkins to the New Orleans Pelicans. This was a team that was second to last in three-point attempts last season. They were 23rd in three-point makes. They need more shooting, and Jordan Hawkins is the best movement shooter in this draft. In his sophomore season, when he won a national title, hit almost 40% of his threes, but he's much more than just a catch-and-shoot kind of guy. This is a movement shooter. He can come off of a screen, catch the ball, square his shoulders up with the rim, turn, rise, fire, and makes them. For a team that still has Zion Williamson on the team, Brandon Ingram on the team, CJ McCollum on the team, he's a guard that doesn't need to handle the ball. He just needs to get open, find his spots, catch the ball, shoot the ball, and space the court for those guys, and that's something that he does exceptionally well.
You mentioned some guys that have rumors swirling around them, Zion being what we're talking about, rumors that maybe the Pelicans were going to trade up. Tell us what you're hearing. Tell us what you know as this draft night carries on.
Yeah, they were really interested in trying to acquire Scoot Henderson. That's a guy that they thought they could really build a franchise around. And with some questions around Zion Williamson, I think they really explored that sort of deal. Ultimately, nothing ended up happening, and they were happy to stay at 14. They're still high on Zion. They're still high on Brandon Ingram. This was a team that was first in the Western Conference in December. And I think they're happy to add a guy that contributes right now. There was Cam Whitmore on the board for the Pelicans here at 14. They could have swung for upside. While I don't think Jordan Hawkins has some of the upside of some of the players you could have taken, this is a team that's trying to compete right now to fight for a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, and Jordan Hawkins is going to help them do that. And I don't think you would have been able to say that about some of the other guys here on the available for them to draft.
You mentioned how much New Orleans needs shot makers. How much, from what you've seen of Jordan Hawkins at UConn, is he ready to kind of be that guy for the Pelicans?
Yeah, they made an assistant coaching hire during the offseason here, bringing in former Charlotte Hornets head coach James Borrego. And during Borrego's time in Charlotte, they ran a motion-based offense. So in the half court, when things slow down, you have guys flying all over the place, coming off screens, cutting, working off ball. That's what Jordan Hawkins is going to be able to do. Whereas I don't know if it would have made sense if the Pelicans ran their isolation-heavy style of basketball last season. Coming this year with what they want to do and how they want to retool the offense, I think Hawkins is going to get minutes. There were few guys, I think, that would be able to contribute right away for the Pelicans if they drafted someone at 14, which they did. Hawkins is basically that guy. This was almost a best case scenario for New Orleans. They were looking at, potentially 3 players there, 4 players. And I think Hawkins, in terms of fit, makes the most sense. So they feel, okay, maybe we didn't get our guy in Scoot Henderson, maybe didn't really shake up the roster, but I think they look at this night and go, okay, we're going to be a better team coming out of the draft than we were going in. And that's all you're really looking to try and do.
Okay, we talked about what he adds to the team. What does New Orleans still need as the draft night carries on and the offseason continues?
Yeah, they don't have any more picks, and they don't have a ton of money to spend in free agency, but adding shooting was like critical objective number one. The second one is going to be rim protection, and I'm sure they were eyeing Derek Lively, the center out of Duke, if he had fallen to the 14th spot, went 2 picks before them at 12 to Dallas. I think they want to add another rim protector. I don't know if they really view Jonas Valanciunas as their center of the future. That might be someone they look to move going forward. Maybe there's a trade that'll shake up the roster a little bit, not as big as trading, say, Zion Williamson, but I think that's an area that they're going to look to upgrade. They might try and trade back in. I think there's more value to be had at the end of this first round, so maybe we see New Orleans move up, maybe not, but I think you could see a potential future trade coming for Jonas Valanciunas as they look to add more rim protection to the roster.
One of the neat things we have to touch on is that Jordan Hawkins is the cousin of Angel Reese, so a fun LSU tie in there. How neat is this addition for the city of New Orleans?
Look, they love people with connections to LSU. They love those kind of ties, and I have no doubt you'll see Angel Reese at Pelicans games next season. She's a huge star already. Just imagine how crazy the crowd is going to go when she's sitting courtside watching her cousin out there. It's just going to kind of elevate the arena. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that next year.
So awesome. And Jake, so interesting, all of your insights. For more on the Pelicans, make sure you are subscribed to the Locked On Pelicans podcast, wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jake, we appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.